I'm Bob Trask. This is our weekly reset. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about the power of your love. The power of your love. I don't know if you've considered that or not, but it's more than you think, way more than you think. It's more than a blessing, although it's a blessing. Let's investigate that. But first, let's do a brief meditation, shall we? If you'll just close your eyes and get the back of your lower back up against your seat and be comfortable. And just begin, if you will, to breathe in gently through your nose. And each breath that comes in, you might see that as a gentle wave washing up on a sandy beach somewhere in the Pacific. And it pauses at the top as you pause your breath after the inhale. And then it relaxes back into the sea as you relax your breath back into the sea of grace. And if you continue to breathe that way, knowing that you are breathing life into your body, breathing the flowers and the forests and the jungles and the seagrasses who are all giving you blessed oxygen. In that soft and gentle inhale of life. And as you relax that exhale, you're breathing CO2 out to the seagrasses and the jungles and meadows and forests. And in that way, we become one with life. And all the cells of your body are waking up now. Waking up in peace. Waking up in pure love. Breathing in through your nose gently. At peace. Now, when you're ready, come back to us. But when you do, bring this gentle, loving self with you. So today, we're going to talk about the power of your love, not just the power of love, but the power of your love. And I think there might be some really beautiful avenues of thoughts, new perspectives that you'll find with this. Because love is maybe the greatest mystery of the human experience. It's not a feeling as much as poetry and music would have us believe it is, that emotional connection with another person that's so delightful, that fascination, that deep thrill of being with another person, of seeing that person, of hearing his or her voice, of, of feeling that embrace, that beautiful feeling is the result of love. It's not love. It's the result of love. Love is far more centric and more dependable than a feeling. Love is the intelligent energy of the universe. It's the most exciting thing in the world. Oprah Winfrey said, "Your greatest power is to show love, to receive love, and to be love." What she's talking about when she says power is a power that's flowing through you. It's not your power. It's though it certainly is available to you in all the abundance that you could ever want it to be. But it's flowing through you as you flow it out, as you give it out. And that power is exactly the same power, that rotates the moon around the earth, or the earth around the sun, or any of the great planets in the solar system. Movement is all love, all energy. And the whole universe, everything, the screen you're looking at, the room you're in, all are made of energy. They are only different subatomic particles being formed by consciousness into walls and into bodies. And that's love. The, there are the forces of the universe, the the magnetic power, the gravitational power, the weak power, the the strong power, those forces of the universe, all of those are being organized and moved forward by love, by the power of the universe that some people call God. It's okay to call that God if you want to. I mean, the Hindus have millions of gods. The Greeks had thousands of gods. I mean, the word God doesn't have any special meaning, but it's the presence that's around you right now. Like you get an idea that you want to do something or be something. Maybe you say, I want to be something. I want to be a great author or a great actor or a great cook or a great what doesn't matter. That is the spark of life inside of you asking to be fulfilled. And it can only be fulfilled as long as it has that power behind it, that power of the universe. By golly, there's nothing, I mean nothing, you can't do. If you can dream it, you can do it. But you can't do it without that power. Now, how do you get that? We're going to talk about that. But let's look a little bit more at this thing that we call love, because sometimes we feel empty, don't we? Sometimes we feel a vacuum, a lack of something, and we don't understand. It's vague, but the feeling of emptiness is strong. It's like an aching inside of us. We want something to fill that emptiness. There's a deep thirst to be loved and to be allowed to love. So we try to find an object that'll fulfill those needs. Then maybe we find someone who we think will do the trick, but the emptiness persists. That's a one-way relationship. Only when we can have compassion for ourselves can we discover the compassion for others. Otherwise, that's just my fragility looking for someone to save me from myself. I want to tell you an interesting story. Back in, I think it was 1964, I was living in San Diego, and a young woman we really became close friends. Her name was Janet. Janet came to me and she said, I just feel unloved. I don't think I'm unlovable, but I just feel empty. I really want to be loved. She was a school teacher. I think she taught third grade, but it was like, she taught her classes and then her classes went on. But she lived alone and she just didn't feel like she was loved, like she was being loved. And I remember saying to her, and I was kind of surprised when I said it because it came through me, not from me. I said, what I want you to do is go out and give away your love. Don't ask anymore for love. Give away love. Give away love with, I remember saying with both hands. Now, you could give anyone that advice or that suggestion, and they're going to go do whatever they do. Or maybe they won't do anything. Maybe they'll just continue to ache and say, why doesn't anybody love me? But that's not what Janet did. Janet decided that she would find the people that most needed love. And for some reason, she decided that deaf mute people needed love. So she taught herself sign language. And I don't mean she just taught herself sign language. She was articulate and eloquent in sign language. And then she discovered, and I don't know how, that in Mexico, deaf people that were mute were kind of locked away. They were families sort of held them because they were ashamed of them. So they didn't go to schools. They just sort of stayed home, and their lives didn't amount to anything because they were considered to be, I don't know, maybe mentally unstable. She taught herself Spanish. So she was completely eloquent in Spanish. She went first to Tijuana, and she started finding those kids and forming little schools where she could teach them. And then she went to Mexicali, and eventually her teachings were all over Mexico. She was so filled with love. She was so filled with love. And the love that was flowing through her was flowing back into her in bundles and bushels. Her life was so full. She was so filled with joy. I was so proud of Janet. So proud. Later, much later in life, I was a singer and I was giving a concert, and I said to the people that I was giving the concert for, I want to bring Janet and some of her students to this concert. They were in San Diego or in Mexico, and so Pacific Airlines, PSA, which has gone out of business now, arranged free for those people to fly up to San Francisco and come to the concert. And it was like a celebration of all that Janet had done. So I'm saying to you that what I learned from Janet, and I learned from many other places, is that if I'm feeling that emptiness, then I need to fill that emptiness. But that is that if I can give out my love, not to just my dog or my cat or my partner, but to everyone I meet, especially those people who have sour faces or who feel like blah, blah, you to give them a smile and to say in your own way, I love you, to just say that in your own way. You could just say those words. Sometimes I pick up the phone, and I've done this with my classes sometimes. I pick up the phone and I just dial a number that I don't know. I just dial an area code and a number, and somebody answered. And I just say, hi, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Please don't hang up. I'm just another member of your human family. And I'm just calling to tell you that I personally appreciate you being here, and I love you, and I welcome you to my family. And there's millions of us out here that hold you in high regard, and we're just glad you're with us. Thank you. I love you. And 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 I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, don't call this number again," or blah blah blah. People are sort of humbled and aghast, and they might say, well, I love you too. Thank you. I say, you're welcome. Have a good day. And then nobody calls me back, but I know that that works because one time I was in a class and I said, somebody give me a number. So I just make a number up, give me an area code and a number. So a woman gave me a number, and I called, and a guy answered the phone, and I told him what I just said. And he said, thank you. Oh my gosh, this has never happened before. Thank you. I said, you're welcome. You deserve every single bit of love that can come your way. I didn't know that that lady was talking about her a stepfather, a man who had married her mother, and she had a real problem with him, and he had a problem with her, and there was a financial thing going on, and it was a real mess, and she felt disrespected by him and him by her. He called her on the phone and said the most amazing thing happened, and told her what happened. And she said his voice was so gentle, and we got along after that. It, when you give your love, you don't know the barriers that you're breaking down. Many marriages and partnerships fail because the participants are linked by surface agreements rather than heart links of love, which is the universal power of the universe. It's not affection, it's much deeper. Our bodies are at every moment building new cells, healing, metabolizing oxygen, and thriving as the flow of universal, intelligent energy, which is love, is flowing into us. And holographically, each particle contains the whole. I'm sure you know that. Like tiniest grain of sand or mote of dust contains the entire world, the entire universe. And if you can only know that completely when you realize that all time and space are right now, right here in this moment, in a tinier moment than the head of a pin. Tiny. All that's going on is going on right here, right now. All past, everything is going on right now, right at this moment. And that gives us the opportunity through that tiny but beautiful opening to flow love into reality. And we can't do that by just giving love, can we? We have to be love. Rhonda Byrne said, the more love you give in your day-to-day life, the greater the magnetic power of love you have in the field around you. And everything you want will fall at your feet. Now, can we, as love, use its power to bring about the goodness we want? To bring about the relationships we want? Janet did it. Janet, this diminutive, sweet, good, honest, wonderful little school teacher who was like a Mother Teresa in my mind. She did it. We can do it. And what happens is that our world unfolds. You know, here's something that we do. I just want to talk for a second about this because I've got this world of multiple talents, and I'm a writer, singer, actor, wilderness guide, sea captain, deep sea diver, free diver, dive instructor, all of that stuff, all of those kind of talents. And most of us have multiple talents. So which one of those do we follow? Which one of those do we do? Imagine that we make it a decision in our minds. This is what I do. This is what I want. This is what I do. And let's imagine just for a moment that that's only a tiny portion of who we are and what we do. Just imagine that for a moment, that if you look at it like a tapestry, I'm only looking at one colored thread in that tapestry. But when I begin to flow that energy, that powerful energy through me, that's the energy of the universe, I broaden, I open. And when I do that, other fabrics, other colors start coming through. And my passion expands beyond that one thing into other things. And I begin to see reality through a wider, broader viewpoint. And I become more and more fulfilled, more joyful, more successful. And the successes that I wanted, the things that I wanted to accomplish, they become more easily achievable and much larger, on a much larger field, in a much larger way. I guess in a way I could say my life is an example of that. because I've done all those things I just mentioned, plus a whole bunch more. And I thought, this is my life. Being the captain of a dive vessel, taking divers and National Geographic divers and people and going and finding seamounts and doing all kinds of things. I thought that was my life. And then I became a trainer, a teacher for New Thought people in New Thought uh, organizations. And I wrote seminars and trained and traveled around. I thought that was my life. This is what I'm doing. And now I'm doing this. I'm talking to you in these weekly resets, and I'm doing classes, Ho'oponopono classes, and I'm going to art classes. And my life is more full than it's ever been. And all of those things are part now of who I am. But I try as best I can to keep myself and my ego out of the way and allow that love, pure love, to flow through me, to broaden me, to make me more one with the universe, to make me fuller, to make me who I came here to be. If love had another name, it would be acceptance. Acceptance of what is and of what is not. Total acceptance without judgment. To know how to love someone, we have to understand and accept them as they are. We need to listen to them. The most essential building block of love is listening. That's the most essential building block of love. John Steinbeck, who's one of my greatest heroes and my teacher, wrote to his son who'd just fallen in love. And here's a passage from that letter. He said, Tom, there are several kinds of love. One is selfish, mean, grasping, egotistical thing, which uses love for self-importance. This is the ugly and crippling kind. The other is an outpouring of everything good in you, of kindness and consideration and respect. Not only the social respect of manners, but the far greater respect, which is recognition of another person as unique and valuable. The first kind can make you sick and small and weak, but the second can release in you a strength and a courage and goodness and even wisdom you didn't know you had. Emmett Fox said, if you could only love enough, you'd be the most powerful person in the world. The essence of love, then, is offering happiness to someone else, isn't it? Not offering it so we'll get something back. When we do something for someone we love, we don't say they owe us. If they do something for us and we say, now you owe me, that was not a favor done with love, was it? We can be the sunshine for another person when we give ourselves freely. Krishnamurti said, the moment you have in your heart this extraordinary thing called love, you feel the depth, the delight, the ecstasy of it. You'll discover that for you, the world is transformed. For you, the world is transformed. You have an opportunity today. I have an opportunity today. And the opportunity is to just stop, to just say to myself, stop. Bob, stop. Stop the motor. You're operating on automatic. You're going through your day on automatic. Everything you do is what you did before and the day before. We know now, it's absolutely proven that 95% of the thoughts I had yesterday are the thoughts I'll have today and the thoughts I'll have tomorrow. 95%. That we don't want to do that. We don't want to keep hearing that same song play over and over and over and over again. We don't want to do that. We want to go on with life. So let's go on with life, but let's expand it. by bringing in the power of the universe. That is Holy Spirit. That is the great creative presence. Let's bring that into us. Let's flow it through us. Let's stop just repeating, replicating those same thoughts, those same habits, those same behaviors. Let's take a risk. Let's step beyond the edges of our comfort zone. And let's not only give love, let's be love. Let's be that power. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. It's always such an honor spending time with you. Please tell your friends about the weekly reset. Let's grow our group. And if you enjoyed today's message, would you mind going to bobtrask.com? And up in the upper right-hand corner of that website, you'll find the donate button. Please help us keep this weekly reset coming. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your support. Now, for the next half hour, we're going to have a group discussion and questions and answers. And we'd love for you to stay and join us. I think you'll find it to be fun. But if you need to run, go with my blessings and with my love. And I'll see you next week.